This is the new 4-piston racing brake on my 1969 Lotus Europa, and it cost me less than 700 euros. A high-end motorsport setup is north of 3000 euros, so instead of buying one, I built my own, using mostly parts from regular road cars. Sounds silly? I'll show you how it works. If you are new to the channel, I race a 1969 Lotus Europa and built most of the upgrades myself. Not because I'm trying to be fancy, but because racing on an employee's salary forces you to get creative. I've been doing motorsport since 2011, and along the way I had to improve the car in almost every area. And I've made some pretty expensive mistakes. On this channel I show you the upgrades that worked and the ones that didn't, so that you can hopefully avoid the same mistakes I made. The next area I'm going to improve on the Lotus is the front brake. Of course, I didn't race all those years with a stock brake. As soon as the regulations allowed it, I replaced the original 232mm solid disc with a larger ventilated setup. Between 2021 and 2025, I used a very well-known upgrade kit from the UK, sold by Lotus Supplies, aka Banks Europa Engineering. This disc is 15mm larger and the ventilation means much better heat dissipation, something that is absolutely critical on the track. And to be fair, it's a good upgrade. But with a single piston floating caliper, it's not exactly a racing brake. So I decided to build my own system. An even larger ventilated disc combined with a 4-piston fixed caliper, but without having to give an arm and a leg for it. The obvious route would be to buy a motorsport brake kit. But in my case, it's not that straightforward. The Lotus Europa is a pretty rare car, so unlike, for example, with a Ford Escort, there are no off-the-shelf 4-piston brake kits available. You can adapt kits from cars like Caterhams, but that already involves custom work. And then there's the cost. A high-end system from AP Racing is well over 3000 euros. In a perfect world, I would choose this solution, but it's out of my price range. A more affordable option would be Wilwood, but even that would still cost over 1100 euros, and I've heard mixed feedback about their aluminum calipers from other racers. So at that point I had to decide. Do I adapt an existing solution and spend a lot of money? Or do I design a system that does exactly what I need without paying motorsport prices? And as an engineer, that was not a difficult decision. The idea was actually pretty simple. Finding the biggest possible brake from a mass-produced road car that still fits inside my 13-inch wheels. Because that's really the key to this whole project. Mass-produced parts are cheap, widely available and easy to replace, which is exactly what you want in racing. But there's a catch. On the aftermarket, quality can vary a lot. So I set myself one clear rule. Only use components from a manufacturer that I actually trust. And for me, that meant Brembo. They supply OEM brakes for many production cars, they are heavily involved in motorsport, and they are even behind brands like AP Racing. So quality is not a concern. The real challenge was something else. Finding a 4-piston caliper that's small enough to fit inside a 13-inch wheel. Because while there are plenty of 4-piston brakes out there, very few of them are designed for small wheels. So the next step was to actually find parts that fit this concept. With the help of a friend who works in the automotive industry, I came across a really promising option, the Volvo 240. It was built from the mid-70s to the early 90s, and surprisingly, it came with a 4-piston brake caliper from the factory. That's quite unusual for a car like that. The original disc is 263mm in diameter, which is slightly too large for my setup, but the caliper itself is compact enough to work with a slightly smaller disc. So that was a big step forward. The next question was, are there proper performance brake pads available for it? Because without that, the whole idea wouldn't make sense. And luckily, there are. Multiple manufacturers offer sports and racing compounds for this exact caliper, so that box was ticked. Now for the brake disc. I wanted to keep the original 22mm thickness of the Volvo just to make sure everything works as intended. After measuring my wheels, I found that the absolute maximum diameter I can fit is 256mm. So I went through the Brembo catalog and eventually found a disc that fits almost perfectly. It's actually from a Hyundai Accent Kia Rio from the 2010s. With a small modification to the bolt pattern, it becomes the perfect match for my Lotus. Choosing the parts is only one side of the story. They also have to work together as a system. That's where the calculation of the hydraulics comes into play, because changing from a single piston caliper to a four-piston setup is a big step. I need to move more brake fluid through the system now. So I switched the front master cylinder from 0.625 inch to 0.7 inch. And interestingly, this combination works out almost perfectly on paper. The piston area of the Volvo caliper matches the new master cylinder in a way that keeps the original front to rear balance almost unchanged. On top of that, the fixed four-piston design is inherently stiffer, which should reduce losses in the system. So in theory, everything checks out. But now came the real challenge. The main components were compiled, but still didn't fit together. This basically means that I had to design a custom mounting bracket to fit the Volvo caliper to my Lotus Europa. And this is where things can easily go wrong, because even small errors in the geometry, just a millimeter, can lead to uneven pad wear, poor braking performance, or the caliper not fitting at all. So instead of guessing, I built an adjustable mock-up from sheet aluminum. That allowed me to precisely dial in the radial position of the caliper, in other words, where it needs to sit relatively to the disc. Once that was defined, the next step was getting the actual alignment right. And that's where most of the iterations happened. I went through multiple adjustments before everything finally lined up the way it should. Having done a rear disc brake conversion before definitely helped. But this still took a lot of time to get right. After I was happy with the geometry, I transferred all the measurements into a 3D CAD model. And that's the final design of the mounting bracket. It's currently being CNC machined and should be ready just in time for the first race of the season. At this point, the design is finished, but of course that's only half the story. It needs to be tested on track. Unfortunately, I won't have the chance to properly test this brake setup before the first race of the 2026 season. So the first time I'll push it to the limit will be under full racing conditions. And that's going to happen at the Spa Summer Classic in April. And that means, if something doesn't work, I will find it out the hard way. In one of my next videos, I'll show you the full race weekend and how this setup actually performs on track. So if you want to see whether this €700 brake survives the famous and notorious Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps, consider subscribing. And if you're interested in more Lotus Europa content, check out this video where I explain why the Renault engine is actually the best choice for this car.